Hi YouTube, Dolly here, and for my second video I wanted to do something that was a little bit less serious, a little bit more lighthearted than my first one was, and so I want to talk with you about baby names. And I'm sure a lot of women that can relate to this subject, whether or not they're trying to have a baby or have ever had a baby or even thinking about having a baby. Baby names is just something that is fun to discuss, and I like to discuss baby names, but I don't really do it a whole lot because I don't think a lot of people like to bring it up with me, maybe, or they forget that I'm trying to have a baby because it's been such a darn long process, or they don't know that I've been trying to have a baby. So whatever the case may be is I don't get to discuss it a lot. So I figured on YouTube would be a great place for that to be an outlet. So um, first of all, I want to thank my 3 subscribers. It really means a lot to me that you subscribe to this channel and that you care about what I have to say. 2 of the subscribers are family members, so I'm not really sure how much that counts, but I'll take what I can get. Thank you guys. And then the third is Patricia. Thank you for subscribing. I won't say any last names, but it means a lot to me. So getting right into it, um, when my husband and I were dating, we were about 17 or 18 years old, and we were sitting at a stoplight, and a repair truck went by the car, and on the side of it, it said Brennan's Repair. And I don't know what it was about that name or that moment or whatever it was, but ever since then, that has been our son's name. Whenever, if we have a son, who knows? But I told Steve, I said, that's it. That's what we're naming our son. And he said, okay, sure, I like that name. And it's been like that for, well, since we were teenagers. And just recently, probably in the last, I'd say maybe 2 years, I really started thinking about other boy names. And I remember when I brought up a different name to him, he was kind of shocked and surprised. And he really doesn't have a huge opinion on the matter right now because it's not something that's happening at this moment. Um, Obviously, once I get pregnant, if I get pregnant, that will be a serious discussion. But ever since, we've been trying, he hasn't really thought about it too hard. So he even really likes the name Brennan. And I do like it, but at the time I didn't hear it anywhere and I thought it was so unusual and different. And now I'm meeting people, or I'm hearing the name more often of men named Brennan, and I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, obviously, whatever I name my child, somebody else somewhere will have that same name, but I don't know. Brennan was just so unique for so long, and now it's kind of lost its charm to me, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. For a boy, his middle name, our son's middle name, will be Richard. My husband was very close to his grandfather named Richard, and he passed away right before we started dating, and my husband was very close to him. So that's one thing that he asked if we could do, his name, our middle son's name, Richard, and so that'll be a given. So forever it's been Brendan Richard, and now I'm kind of throwing a wrench in things and, shaking things up a little bit, but we'll see. I don't know. And then for a long time, I have never had a girl's name that I absolutely love. But one name that I've been really liking for a while now is Evelyn, and then her middle name would be Winter. So Evelyn Winter. I don't know what it is about that, but it just sounds very classy, very feminine. But even though it's an older name, I don't hear it. I don't hear it now. And so I kind of like that fact that it was popular way back in the day, and, you know, it could be used today. And I would probably call her Evie for short. And I don't know where Winter came from. My husband and I both have birthdays in December, but I'm not even particularly a fan of winter. Like, if I'm at home and it's snowing and I have no plans to go anywhere, that's one thing. But overall, I'm just not a huge fan of winter. I don't know. But I just think it sounds really pretty with the name. So, anyways, and then also for these other names I'm going to get to, my last name starts with a K, and I have known people who their first name and last name matches, and I've never thought anything weird or strange about that until I heard these two names, and I really liked them. And then I was like, I don't know if we can name our son or daughter that because of our last name starts with K. But the boy's name is Keegan, and the girl's name is McKenna. And I just think they're so cute, but they rhyme, they match with my last name, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. It's weird because for other people, I've never had an issue, but if it were my own son or daughter, I think I would. That's strange, I know. um, Another boy's name that I really like is Dane. And yes, I did first hear the name from the comedian Dane Cook. And while I do think that some of his stuff is funny, he's pretty out there. He's got a potty mouth, frankly, that I don't always appreciate. And he's really rough around the edges and just crude. But some of his stuff is funny. As much as I hate to admit it, he can make me laugh. But I don't want people to think that I named my son after the comedian. Um, and then, ironically, as I was thinking about this video, for my work, we had an event earlier last week, and there was a middle-aged man there, and his name was Dane. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? That could work. I just think it's a really strong name. It's different, but it's not too unusual. So I really like that name. And the next names, for a girl, I really love the name Phoebe, and for a boy, I love Chandler. And yes, I initially heard those names obviously from the show Friends, but I don't want people to associate my children with that show. And obviously, it was like one of the most popular sitcoms on television. So people my age, people a little bit older will think that. But I think that by the time my child gets to school, nobody will know what Friends is. So I don't think I have to worry about that too much. And then I really like the name Aniston for a girl. But then again, you have Jennifer Aniston. So it's like, I don't know, the name association. Who knows? Some boys' names that I like, and again, these are all kind of tied to people. I love the name Lincoln. You have Abraham Lincoln, of course, but I mean, there are worse people to be named after. I think that's a strong name. I love the name Broderick, but there's the actor Matthew Broderick, so I don't know if people would associate that. One name I like is Liam. You've got Liam Neeson, but Liam is a very um, not. It's a very common name, but not too common. I don't know. And then this next name, you're gonna laugh at me, but I enjoy the Star Wars movies. I'm not a big Star Wars fanatic or freak. I should have said freak, I'm sorry. But I do like the movies. My husband very much likes the movies. He quotes Yoda sometimes, and that's okay. But, and he's never actually brought this up. This was my idea, but I love the name Anakin for a boy. I know it's weird. We wouldn't name him Annie, like Padme calls Anakin Annie in the Star Wars movies. We would just call him Anakin. But Anakin Richard, I think it's so different. I've never met an Anakin ever. So people might make fun of him, or they might think that he's like the coolest kid in the world and has really awesome parents, so who knows. And then the next two names, Griffin and Grayson. And I just think those are really nice boy names. Okay, for some girl names. I like, obviously you can tell, I like I like movies a lot. I like television shows a lot, and so does my husband. And it's not necessarily that I would name like my child after these particular people. It's just that I hear the names and they just, I don't know, they evoke something inside of me. Does that sound weird? And I just think that they're really cool names. Not necessarily just cool, but strong names, different names, unusual names. Anyways, I'm digressing. For the girls' names, I like Ashton, but then there's Ashton Kutcher. Not particularly my most favorite actor, but not horrible either. And then Blake. I love the name Blake for a girl. I think that's so different. And I like Blake Lively. I think she's a very pretty girl. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of her, but I don't really follow a lot of her work either. But I think it's Ashton and Blake. I think they're very nice names for a girl. Not too feminine, but just a good mix. And then I love the name Julia for a girl, but I wouldn't want her to be called Julie. And obviously, you can't follow around your kid all day, every day, and you can't control what other people say. So she probably would end up being called Julie, and I don't know how I feel about that. But Julia, I think it's very classic. Um, the name Vivian, and I know that Vivian's an older name, but I feel like it's making a comeback. I thought that there was a celebrity recently who named their daughter Vivian, but I'm not sure, but I think that's really pretty too. And yeah, and I like other names too. I like the name Lane for a boy, or you could have a girl named Lane, but I don't know. That I guess that could go either way, but I like that name. And there are other names out there I like too, but these are like top picks. So I don't know if Brendan Richard will stay. I don't know if Evelyn Winter will stay. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I may have 5 or 10 years to worry about this, but again, it's something that I like to talk about. And maybe by the time I do get pregnant, or if I do get pregnant, I won't even like any of these names. I'm a finicky person. I don't know. What can I tell you? So, that's it for that video, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye, YouTube.